Hello everyone, Godlike here with another recap. This is not an easy one to make since we are outside of competition. We ended top 3 of EEC after losing versus Solari. But before going into the details of the games, I just want to wish a prompt recovery to both Wolfie from Nexus Reapers and Pivotless from Solari. I wish you get well soon so we can continue battling you inside of the Rift. Let's go back into the recap of the games. First of all, on Saturday we played versus Nexus Reapers. Nexus Reapers had to play with 2 subs, one for top lane and then one for AD carry. And in that series I think we basically did what we had to do. It was difficult to see and understand what to expect with the changes that they were forced to make. But I think the team responded very, very well, and we basically gave 0 chances to Nexus Reapers to win the games, which allowed us to play for the top 3. In the top 3 on Sunday, we play versus Solari. I think in this series, we started very, very well, kind of like a similar trend as to what we did on Saturday. I think we really showed what we can do as a team or what our peak performance can look like. But unfortunately, I think in games 2 and 3, we were not able to kind of maintain that performance. I think in game 2, draft was not the best. It played into the conditions that Solari wanted, and we were unable to transform some of the advantages that we had into our favor to take the series with us. And I think in game 3 it was kind of like a similar story to what has happened to us in the Nexus Tours. We played an insane early game, perfect early game I would say. Then we did some mistakes that allowed Solari to get back into the game, and then we just couldn't find the angles that we had, and we just ended up losing, even though the team did a valiant effort to try and keep us alive in the series. So that was the end of our run for EEC. Personally for me, losing this series was very, very hard. As some of you may know, I live in United States, so it is not every day that I can see the team face to face. And going to Cologne was probably one of my only chances this year due to my visa situation here in the US. So losing was very, very hard on me because of that. But still, we have a lot of things to improve. We have game changers, which should be the future moving forward for the scene. I think we really showed how high we can be as a team in those games. I think versus G2, game 1 in the group stage, and also in game 1 versus Solari. And we just need to make sure that we can do this consistently so we can really flourish as a team. And that is one of the goals that we will have going into Game Changers, in addition I think to some restructuring of ideas on how we approach draft, for example. Especially now that in Game Changers we will have mostly best of 5 that will be fearless. So we will work on those things. We will try to be better so we can continue the growth from the players. Because again, the main idea of the project is not only be the best team in the scene, but to bridge the gap with the ERL system, LEC system. So at one point, the players that come through the extractor can go and take on to the next challenge that will hopefully one day allows us to have inside of the LEC one player from the scene. Just to finish, we have finals. It's gonna be G2 versus Solari. I think it's gonna be a very, very interesting matchup, and I just want that if you follow the scene to please go and support them too, because the scene needs every bit of support. So if you've been following us and you enjoy what we do, be sure to watch the stream on the 23rd of August, because I'm sure you will have some fun. Just to finish, I want to say thank you to everyone that has been supporting us and that has been supporting the scene during these weeks. It really means a lot that you have been supporting us every day after every game, despite not obtaining our objectives. I want to say thank you again. We'll probably see each other when Game Changer arrives, so we can get into more details and updates as to how we've been doing and how we have been preparing. Be ready for more, because we'll come for Game Changers and we'll meet in the Paris Games Week.